Great. Before we talk about angles of attack, let's go ahead and talk about your guarding stance with a single stick. In our freestyle system, what we're trying to create is tightness with our single stick guarding stance. What do I mean by that? We don't want to be loose. We don't want your legs to be apart, your elbows to be out, and you're in this open position. That's a no-no. So what are we looking for? Let's talk about our body. Okay, everyone's body is different. Okay, the distance between my heels right now, you notice my left foot is back, should be the same distance between the top of my stick and my head. Okay, so notice I'm holding the stick. If I get a little closer to you guys, notice I'm holding like a 45-degree angle with my elbow inside my ribs. Okay, so the stick would be in the center of your body, but notice 2 to 3 inches above the head. That's very important. What happens is if you don't have this angle, you drop this down. Now look at me. I'm selling myself short by 3 inches. Very important concept in guarding stance with a single stick. Elbow in, 45 degrees up. That way the stick is surpassing your head by 3 to 4 inches. For obvious reasons, not to get hit. So that's one thing that you need to know with the stick hand. Okay, elbow in, 45 degrees up, and then make sure you only have 2 finger space on the puño side. Puño side is the short end side. Here's the tip side. Okay, so basically 2 fingers. Why 2 fingers? Because if you have too much, now you have to worry about 3 defensive, what? Exactly. So your partner could grab 1 time here, 2 here, 3 here. So you have to worry 3 times here. That's 3 risks you're taking. Why? When you could make it 2 risks, right? Less risks, the better. So 2 fingers. Now they could only grab the hand and the stick. So that's all we need to do. Keep that in mind. 2 fingers is what you want to do with the grip, okay? So we talked about the stick hand. Now let's see what I'm talking about with the heels. Okay, so your heels, the way you're standing, I'm kind of like, my front foot is kind of turned just a little bit, but my rear heel is off the ground. Okay, see that? I don't want to be too narrow because then I have no balance to the side. I'll fall to the sides if they push or if they strike. And I don't want to be too wide. This is too wide. Now, I'm not going to be agile. I'm not going to be fast. So I would go shoulder width apart. Your shoulders, the way you measure it, just put the stick there. There you go. So at this point, this is the widest my shoulders go, right here. That's how far my shoulders go. So this is the distance right here. Talk about mathematics. This is the same distance that your heels need to be apart. So if I'm in my guarding stance right here, and I put this stick down, there you go. So from this point to that point is how far my heels are apart. So that's how you could measure yourself and check yourself. It's a very good training tool to do. So measure your shoulders with the stick, with your own stick. And then this is the distance, as wide as your shoulders, that's how far your heels should be apart. So just test that out, okay? All right. So we talked about the stick hand, we talked about your stance, and now we're going to talk about the empty hand in the guarding stance. So in the guarding stance, your empty hand, again, I got that 45 degrees up, 2 fingers. Your empty hand will be right directly behind the stick. So you notice this? I'm going to give you a different angle. Look at that. So that's center of my body behind the stick. The reason why is you could block better and your hand positioning will be right there for the defense. I am putting the palm, the side palm, right here, the edge of my palm with the meaty part, right behind the stick. If I put my knuckles behind it and they stick and they strike the stick, it's gonna hurt my knuckles. Even the backhand, it'll hurt. Here, nothing. So keep that in mind. Again, the empty hand, centered, elbow in, right behind the stick. And you'll be maneuvering, of course, you'll be pivoting, but for right now, just the stance. So there you go. This is your basic stance. Yes, we'll be moving around too, but we're not talking about footwork. Check out the footwork video if you guys want to check that out. There's a lot more details on that. So again, the stance, the guarding stance. This is going to be our guarding stance. Sometimes we have the hand behind, sometimes we don't. If we're playing long range, I don't need the hand behind. But if they're getting closer to us, boom, my hand goes behind. All right? Enjoy your guarding stance with the single stick.